John Delarose here, author of For Steaming Country, the leading Hispanic voice in science fiction. You've all probably seen the big news at this point that Axel Alonso is out at Marvel. That's what we're here to address today. I'm going to be talking about this for a second. I'm not going to be able to look at your comments because I'm driving. I just wanted to get this up right away because this is breaking news like I've never seen. This is ridiculous. Big news. Axel Alonso out at Marvel. Axel Alonso's been guiding that Marvel ship. Gosh, when did Joe Quesada leave? For a long time. And we've seen it. We've seen Marvel. I mean, the gimmicky Marvel social justice ship has been going since Joe Quesada. Joe Quesada was all in on that. They loved doing the little social justice events, to try to boost sales, even back then. But it seems like it's just gone too far for too long. It's bothering too many people. The sales are declining. Marvel Legacy is a failure, is what this means. The hot take here is Marvel Legacy is a failure, right? They didn't see the real sales boosts that they were hoping to find. They did, of course, the Lens-tacular whatevers as a gimmick to try to get people on it, but it didn't stick because it was the same creative teams, the same stories, same sort of quality art, and they were just producing the same thing, right? So they didn't make a real change. They faked us all out like they were going to make a change, and then they just didn't do it, right? And that's the problem with it. So it didn't work. This was, I'm guessing this was his last gasp, because it's been driving business into the ground for so long that they said, you know what, we'll give you this last shot, and then we got to make some changes. So it's a good thing. Alonso has been pushing the political agenda way hard. He pushes it on his Twitter. He only hires people of a really extreme political persuasion and seems to care about that above the actual comic content a lot. And it's driven Marvel into the ground. We all know this. Anybody who's been around for several months knows this. And, it's been past due for a change. Now, they hired a guy, CB Cebulski. I don't even know his name. I don't even think he's on Twitter. It's brilliant. Brilliant to hire a guy who's not on Twitter at this point for Marvel, because we can't go through his Twitter and then maybe he is on Twitter, but I haven't seen it. But we can't. We don't have all these tweets where he's just going, Trump is bad, white supremacist, like everybody else at Marvel. So that is the first step towards Marvel becoming a company that actually makes comics fun for people to read again, which is good deal. So what does Marvel need to do at this point? Marvel needs to actually enact a long-term strategic plan. They're very good at the short term. We're going to try this out for real quick and see, and it's going to get the boost in sales real quick, and then it's going to go away again. We'll just reset back to normal in a year or two. They do that a lot, and they need to stop doing that. They need to stop relaunching everything with new number ones. They need to just settle down. All of that has really torpedoed their company for the long run because it annoys collectors more than makes people want to collect, and it's caused problems on that front. The changing characters of social justice needs to stop. They need to really do a hard get away from that. And I wouldn't make an event out of it. What I'd just do, because I think the event fatigue is really another problem Marvel has. What I'd just do at this point is we've got the quote legacy, which is not really a hard reset like we've been asking for. But, just let the creative teams finish their 6-month arcs. You can get your graphic novel out of that. And then just kind of die it off, put new people in their place, and just kind of let them do their thing. I think we need hard returns to what we used to see out of Marvel characters and comics. And that's and make that a starting point. Make it Marvel Rebirth, right? Even call it that. Oh my gosh, if you called it that, DC would have a field day. For one, it'd be fun because DC would just go, oh, they're ripping us off, and then Marvel's like, well, we're just going to do it even better. And you have a real opportunity to do something there. I would seriously consider doing that, just because of the amount of fake outrage on the internet that calling it Rebirth would actually do. It'd be pretty funny. So they got to make that return for one. I think they do need to relaunch sort of their creator-owned brand to keep the good creators happy. Also, they had that icon thing for a while, and it kind of floundered because they didn't really promote it. They just kind of said, okay, Brian Bendis, if you make all of our Marvel books for us, we'll let you have powers and whatever else you want to do too. And he said, okay, fine, then I'll stick with Marvel for that. Well, they didn't promote it. They didn't do a great job with it. They didn't just bring in new content and new creators through that. They didn't really. You got you can start a minor league farm team through that, you know. And that's the way of the future. I mean, let's be honest. It's never going to be the same reading Captain America. Never going to be the same reading Spider-Man. We're not going to be able to recapture that glory like it was, even if we tell good stories. Because everybody psychologically knows in the back of their heads that these are movie spawning products. So they are characters who are meant to be kept the same so that we can use them as a marketing tool for the movies, right? And so while they're while this trend still goes on in Hollywood, I don't know how long that's going to last. I think we're getting kind of sick of it there too. But while that's going on, and you can't change the characters, you can't progress the characters, you can't have them have real lives. You just gotta force them into these kind of boring stories. You need to be developing something else. So I would do that. I would make the creator-owned line and expand it. Sales of comics. What did I hear right now? I heard from a comic retailer, which was an interesting way to phrase things, was that comics right now are very wide. Like, there's a lot of comics out there and a lot of different books on the shelf, and a lot of people like a lot of different things, and they're very shallow. So all these books, there's more books than ever before, but they're as a consequence, because people are spreading their money out, not selling quite as well. So I would do that, and I would allow them to go shallow on the creator-owned end. Just have them make a profit, have low print runs on them, work out deals where the writer and artist are more incentivized to promote it themselves than a direct page rate maybe. And that way you get the writers and artists invested, and you get people invested in writers and artists as that kind of goes along. And commit to the long term. I mean, get some creators you like and commit to like a 5-10 year program so that people are investing in people and not investing in a character. Now I was talking about this with somebody else. The investment in the character is really it is the ultimate downfall of the comics beyond any of this other stuff. In books or in movies, we often go see an actor or an actress, or we see a writer, or we buy a book because of a writer. If I go out to the stands and I'm looking at YA, I'm going to buy a Sarah J. Maas book because it's Sarah J. Maas. I'm not going to buy it because of whatever characters in the book. I mean, if somebody else wrote Sarah J. Maas's characters, it wouldn't be the same. And that's what we find. It's not the same, right? So because they set it up like that, and they set it up like this is the reason they set it up like this. They wanted to get cheap creators, and they wanted to be able to cycle through them. If somebody gets too big, too expensive, cycle through them to the next guy and just throw them to the curb, right? And it is what Marvel and DC Comics for 100 years have been all about. And that is the inherent real problem with the comic industry right there beyond anything else. So I'd do that, and I'd actually consider bringing back CrossGen. So what you do is you've got your superhero universe, your main superhero universe, and then you bring back this other superhero universe, which was your restart new stuff, and you let this one be one that actually evolves and actually changes over time. So I think we want things that evolve and change over time. I think we want new characters. I think Marvel can't live off of Stan Lee forever. I mean, it's just embarrassing. And I think we need to get rid of the social justice initiatives. I would just start from scratch at this point and just like relaunch with just all new people. It would be amazing if they did that sort of gesture. They would be able to, it'd be weird for a bit, but they'd be able to really take things by storm. So I hope this guy is good. I think I hope he's got a creative direction that's interesting. I'm going to be watching. Of course, he's not going to watch me. I don't know why, but those are the things I think Marvel needs to do in order to regain our good graces, and it's going to take 2-3 years of producing good content in order to get us something that we believe is going to be stable and for the long run. no more gimmicks, no more quick stuff, no more trying to get outrage news in order to boost sales real quick. You need to now focus on producing the best quality comics you can, and you need to stick with them. When you get something like, remember that Hawkeye book a few years ago, which was really good? It was, I'm not really into, I think it was Matt Fraction. I'm not usually into him, but stick with it. It's not worth, getting invested in something good and then having it canceled, 6 months later. And that's what we see a lot with these giants now. And they need to show that they're about the creativity, and you do that by actually sticking with creators and making it more of a creator-friendly environment. So that's my advice, and thank you for tuning in.